Thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome to a special thrift store rundown, bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Right off the bat, I gotta tell you, this won't be easy. Why? Because it's not in my usual wheelhouse to do solemn remembrances of celebrities that I don't usually gravitate toward. However, on a day like today, with a magazine like this, I just gotta beat it and get it done. You might be aware that today, June 25th, marks the 18th anniversary of the sudden passing of superstar entertainer Michael Jackson at the age of 50, just as he was doing rehearsals for his This Is It comeback tour. So this won't be the easiest special double issue of People magazine to take on, from July 13, 2009, retailing in the States for $4.49 and $5.99 in Canada, and bought on the house at Unique Thrift Store in Patterson, meaning that store supervisor and good friend of mine, Annie, got this for me. This won't be easy because I'm not the biggest Michael Jackson fan out there. However, I do have a personal angle with which to work from to do this, and I'll tell you that later. After all, I too respect his body of work and part of his legacy. At least once a month, it's impossible for me not to go into a lift or to a restaurant or store and not listen to his music, either from his solo era or his Motown Jackson 5 days, and think to myself, oh, if he had only one more song to sing. Whatever it is, if it exists at all, we may never know. But I like to think that there will be plenty of summer soundtracks in this year, as in years past, curated wholly or partially by his catalog. Which begs the question, well, actually a couple of them. Why is the whole of this magazine separated from the covers? But more importantly, what are your favorite Michael Jackson songs from either of his eras, solo or Jackson 5? And what seasons do you tie them into the most? I'm genuinely curious. Besides, there's a lot going on beyond the talented tragedy of Michael Jackson, at least in this magazine, that I'd like to share with you and hopefully lighten up the mood a little bit. And so we shall by catching the case of baseball fever. 2/3 of which in the Star Trek section, coming by way of the New York Yankees versus the New York Mets, the annual Subway Series. But first, a shout out to Newark's very own Queen Latifah, battering up for a celebrity softball game hosted by Newark's very own Youth Baseball League, the Newark Bears. Here we have Richard Gere and son Homer, as well as Kate Hudson down below, showing their loyalties for a big tradition in the Big Apple. One city, two baseball teams, two separate yet equally passionate fan bases, one big rivalry. By the way, at the time, Kate Hudson was dating the Yankees' very own Alex Rodriguez. Oh, that A-Rod. Easy to pin on the diamond, not so easy to pin on the altar. J-Lo tried to do it. She failed. Kate Hudson, no different. But at least her being A-Rod's cheerleader at the time worked out in his and his team's favor. On this game, June 28th, the Yankees beat the Mets 4-2. Thanks a lot, Kate. We're more Mets fans in this house than anything. We don't mind the Yankees, but we just like the Mets a little bit more. Now let's get on the set and visit 3 of the CW's hottest coneheads around. They would be Annalyn McCord, Jessica Lowndes, and Jessica Stroop of 90210 enjoying a sweet treat while filming a beach club scene for their TV show. Plus, catching the pedicab ride in Atlantic City with Jennifer Aniston? Sign me up, please. Here is the happy-go-lucky gal on June 23rd getting a walkout on the set of a then-new rom-com, The Bounty Hunter, with Gerard Butler. A source says that Jen was extremely high-spirited, smiling and greeting fans when recognized. How did she greet them, though? That's the real question. I doubt anyone in the common folk, myself included, will be able to just grab a selfie with Jennifer Aniston out of the blue in light of recent events. That would be like climbing Mount Vesuvius, barefoot and blindfolded. Sadly, it's just not that easy anymore, if it ever was easy to begin with during the height of her career as Rachel from Friends. Moving on to remembering an infomercial king, Billy Mays, who died on June 28th in Tampa, Florida at the age of 50 from heart disease. Obviously, Billy Mays was known for a lot more than his OxyClean infomercials. I too am an infomercial fan. I like to search them up on YouTube on my own accord from time to time. And his body of work also included the rather stinky Mighty Putty, if anyone saw Isn't It a Good Idea to Microwave This on YouTube, as I did. And then the Samurai Shark, the Knife Sharpener, and the Big City Slider Station. You may also remember him for his Discovery Channel reality series Pitchman, alongside his friend, Australian pitchman Anthony Sullivan, who you and I might remember from the Swivel Sleeper and Swivel Sleeper G2 infomercials. The G2 was my favorite. Here they are chatting it up with then Tonight Show host Conan O'Brien talking about selling products that help people out. A lot of their products did help people out, and Anthony Sullivan's still kicking it. Billy Mays' legacy is fondly remembered. Here's Bradley Cooper shutting down any and all romance rumors with Jennifer Aniston, his then co-star for the movie He's Just Not That Into You, adapted from that book from one of the Sex and the City writers. The movie TV tie-in we do have in the library, and we'll take care of that at some other point. Both of them were spotted enjoying a platonic dinner at a New York City restaurant June 18th, and that's all it was, platonic. He refers to her as, quote, a very, very interesting person, but simply a friend. Since we have no photo evidence to the contrary, or to his point, we'll have to take it with a grain of salt. But if anyone, man or woman, could get close to Jennifer Aniston the way he did, and still regard her as just a friend, we got some problems in here. Because, by many views, Jennifer Aniston is the girl of America's dreams. But to each their own. We'll put a pin in that one, and move on to Bachelor and Dancing with the Stars alum Melissa Rycroft getting engaged for keeps with Dallas insurance agent Ty Strickland. I'm sure we all remember Jason Mason's season of The Bachelor, right? He was torn between two top-tier babes, Melissa, a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and the all-American plain Jane Molly Mullaney. He was so torn up, he was crying over a balcony because he didn't know who to choose. In the end, he first chose Melissa, and then dumped her on after the final rose to pursue Molly, and we know how it ended up for both parties. This just proves that you don't dump a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader without repercussions, and I think Jason felt those repercussions, but I think we all know where both parties stand. Happy and healthy, so we'll just put a pin in that one. In the Fast Take section, co-hosting Yogan Fuz's EB Medical Research Foundation at the Malibu Lumberyard, you can look that up on your own time, James Marsden, David Arquette, and his then-wife pictured here alongside Sheryl Crow, Courteney Cox. Okay, Courteney Cox Arquette, but still. Just as Jennifer Aniston is the girl of America's dreams, Courteney Cox, as you darn well know by now, is the girl of my dreams and the love of my life. It's not that big a difference. Then again, I can't hypothetically cheat on Courteney now, can I? And I think this was before or during her Jules Cobb days on Cougar Town, and we're not quite through with the cul-de-sac crew yet. Next up, an introduction to a new ABC sitcom at the time, 10 Things I Hate About You, based upon Heath Ledger's 1999 movie, which itself was based upon Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. This iteration of the movie features two opposite sisters, Kat and Bianca. Kat is played by Lindsey Shaw, and Bianca is played by Megan Martin. This is Lindsey Shaw post Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. She played Mose on the show. I think we all remember the Nick sitcom, right? I only ever watched one episode, Recess, and that was about it. And of course, this is also Lindsey pre-Pretty Little Liars, before she was cast as Paige McCullough's Emily's swim team rival and inexplicably turned girlfriend. Before we continue, let's add it all up. Lindsey Shaw, pre-Pretty Little Liars, plus Monica and Rachel, and Melissa Rycroft. What does this mean?
Oh, I know.
Yes, a rather bittersweet given the circumstances. Perked-Up Roses and Rosewood, where we talk about The Bachelor, Pretty Little Liars, and Friends all at once. no matter what the context is, no matter what the magazine is, it's never not a fun series to do around here. But, duty bound, we do have to talk about the main story in this article, and that is, of course, the life and death of Michael Jackson. And without memorializing him too much, because again, he's not one of my favorite artists, I'm pretty sure many of you out there can recite his songs ad verbatim, even turn them into spoken word drama. Thriller, Billie Jean, the Captain EO mini-movie, Beat It, We Are the World, Heal the World, Man in the Mirror, fun genre-defining beats and socially conscious bops. His days growing up in the Jackson 5, and his years conquering the world solo, even building Neverland Ranch, his very own amusement park for his children in his own backyard. Just as he had his fair share of triumphs on and off stage and in the recording studio, he definitely had his fair share of tribulations as well, such as the skin condition vitiligo, which turned his skin from black to pale white, requiring many plastic surgeries to keep up his youthful appearance. And of course, we all know those ugly child molestation allegations for which he was tried and acquitted. All this leading up to his sudden death at the age of 50, just a couple of days after he was rehearsing for his This Is Us tour at the Staples Center, which then later hosted his memorial service. He was given a fatal overdose by his then personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, who did 1 year and 11 months in criminal custody for involuntary manslaughter. You know, the Reverend Al Sharpton probably said it best at Michael Jackson's memorial service, for which he was given a standing ovation. I'll paraphrase. Michael himself wasn't strange. What he went through was strange. And yet, this man looked in the mirror and saw a universe that he created all by himself. A universe that quite isn't the same without his music, and isn't the same without him. Now, let's try and lighten up the mood by getting some great ideas in the summer entertaining department. And we start with Jesse McCartney's $10 romantic date night for two. The pop star and aspiring cook knows the way to a woman's heart is with a great meal. However, I'm a little skeptical that an Angus burger with Parmesan fries would be two of the sharpest romantic tools in your shack. Then again, I'm not the one who's shacking up this summer, sadly. You just might be. So I would consider this the Courteney last resort for anyone who's willing to go all in on Vive l'Amour. Just make sure that you don't count inflation as the third wheel in your relationship, and that in this case, the mood more than makes up for the food. With some suggested songs down below, including I'll Be There by the Jackson 5, and some flowers for your table decor, preferably orchids from the farmer's market. This does get 4.5 out of 5 claps. You know, in his early days, Michael said that all he wanted to do was to live his life as a normal boy. If that was the case, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about his life, or his death for that matter. But for history's sake, that wasn't the case. After all, he did a fairly fine job ruling the world with crystallized kid gloves. I hope you enjoyed this bittersweet Perked-Up R&R. Thank you for being here, and don't forget to stop and smell the roses and the coffee. It could heal your world. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the thrift side.